Hi everybody, Andy here again. Just a quick blog really. I just wanted to sort of talk about a couple of things that I've done over the last couple of days. I might have mentioned before, over here in the UK I live in a place called Hastings, which most people will know. 1066, the Battle of Hastings. Apparently it's the one sort of history date that the majority of people can actually remember, especially here in the UK obviously, but right across the world I think 1066 and all that is something that people know about. Well anyway, yesterday, the October the 14th, was actually I think the 940th anniversary of the actual battle, October the 14th, and what they've been doing is having a big reenactment with sort of 3,000 people reenacting the battle just a few miles up the road in battle, surprisingly enough. But also last night they had a big bonfire celebration. They have goes around loads and loads of towns in the area, and they have all the bonfire societies go around big parades with flaming torches and flamethrowers and God knows what else, and hundreds of people sort of actually taking part in this big procession. But it culminated on an enormous bonfire on the beach and what turned out to be a pretty amazing firework display, sort of pyrotechnic display, which lasted about a quarter of an hour and must have cost a lot of money, I know that. But the point I was going to make about that is being very lucky that living in a town that I do. We've all got our own views about the towns, cities, areas that we live in, and I think a lot of people don't actually appreciate where they do live, and I'm as guilty as that as anybody. I've sat here over the last few years on the same day, because they do this every year, the old bonfire and celebration of the Hastings week leading up to the sort of the big celebrations around the sort of the anniversary of the battle date, as I said, October the 14th. And over the last few years I thought, I see it mentioned in the paper, you get a bit of paper through their door that tells you all the events that are going on, and you just can't be bothered. You think, oh well, you know, I'll do something else. I'll watch the telly. You know, I can't be asked to use an expression, to go out and get on and watch it. But made the effort yesterday, as I said, and went and watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it, and thought to myself, I ought to do this more often. You know, you've got a town where all these things are going on, lots of events taking place. We've got the sea obviously here, living by the south coast as well, and if I sort of stand up and look out the window I can actually see the sea over there, and not a lot of people live by the sea as well, another added attraction, which was actually the reason that my wife moved here in the first place. It's another thing you take for granted. I think we all do that, don't we? We take our areas for granted. Every town, every city, every area's got some sort of attractions, some sort of appeal to somebody. I know some of us live in possibly nicer areas of the country or the world than others do, but I'm sure there's things in your town or your city which are worthy of visiting or worthy of getting out of your chair and going and have a look at and experiencing as well. So I think it applies to just about everybody, but we're all just too lazy a lot of the time. I think be grateful for what you got, because as Joni Mitchell says, you don't know what you got till it's gone, and that's very, very true. You know, the build up to pave paradise and put up a parking lot, that sort of thing, and that's very, very true. And I think we're all guilty of that. As I said, I'm as bad as anybody else will sit down, but today I sort of got up and did it, and I thought, this is good, you know, I want to do this more often. So this could be YouTube's first 2007 New Year's resolution. I don't know, a bit early, 3 months early, but so my resolution is to get out there and actually do something a bit different, expand my horizons a bit, I suppose. And I know, I was thinking about this earlier actually, and went out for a little walk along the seafront. Beautiful day here, bright blue sky and nice weather, etc. And a lot of other people doing the same thing. And I suppose there's all these people laying in bed, sort of thinking, oh, I can't be bothered to get up, and just generally just sort of being like a sloth, I suppose. And it's very, very tempting to do that, as I said. But if you get out there and do something, you make yourself feel better, don't you? Expand your horizons, get off your backside a bit. And I know not everybody is able to do that, but there are other ways of doing it. You don't have to get out and walk, you don't have to physically sort of leave the house. You can watch YouTube rather than watch the telly, I suppose. Read a decent book, watch a decent programme on the TV, expand your horizons in that way. So you don't just have to sort of get up, even if you're unable to do certain things, you can still do it. And you never know, you might learn something, you might keep yourself going, keep your mind moving a bit as well. I think it's my father, who's 90 next year, is still fairly active, thankfully, and continues to be so. But I think that's partly because he keeps his mind going. He's always constantly borrowing books off himself. Every time he comes around, he wants to borrow some new ones. Keeps himself mobile as best as he can, goes out for little walks every day and all those sort of things. And I'm sure now that he's slowing down in later life, which is hardly surprising, that has helped him in lots of ways, I think. That sort of keeping things going over the last few years, mentally and physically, has helped him to keep keep along. As I said, he is slowing down, but it's hardly surprising. I'd like to think that I'll reach that age and be as active and as alert and that as he is, and we've got people on YouTube very much the same. So, and that's good seeing them up there doing their stuff. But there you are. So that's the main point I wanted to make. But along those lines, actually, I saw a video yesterday from Martin M. Harris, 1920s wife, or sadly now his widow, I think it's Teresa. A great man. I watched some of his videos. If you haven't watched any, M. Harris 1920, it's worth watching. He was 86 years old. I think he was possibly the oldest person on YouTube. He was only on there for a couple of weeks, unfortunately, but started sharing some of his stories about an American sharing his stories about actually fighting in the Second World War and things like that. And another man like Peter, geriatric, 1927, who's led a very interesting life, or did lead a very interesting life. So I'm glad that he was there, even if it was only for a couple of weeks. I subscribed to his videos and had a sort of couple of email conversations with him. I was talking about getting my father to do something as well, trying to put something up, because he served in the Second World War as well. So I'm still working on that one. But I'd like to thank him for his videos. I'm very sorry about his passing. He seemed like a very nice guy. As I said, take a look at his videos. But hopefully his wife, his widow, is going to carry on with his videos. So that's good. I mean, as I say, I'd like to see people sort of keeping themselves alert, keeping themselves going. And I'd like to think he got a bit of something out of the last couple of weeks of his life here on YouTube. If you look at the comments and that, he's obviously touched a lot of people. He's got a lot of reaction in that respect. I'd rather him was here, obviously, but at least he's touching people and shared some of his things across the world, which a lot of people don't get the chance to do. So that's a good thing anyway. So and something else is just thought of. So there you go. I think that's bad enough for me. Waffled enough for quite enough time. And I'll see you again sometime soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.